As the bankers gain more control over the economy, we see how it continues to get worse. And today we will discuss the global economy taking a nosedive. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get into this news right away. There are many articles, in fact, that I'd like to cover, different charts, and we're just going to go through them quickly. S&P cuts Russian debt one notch to junk level. That's right, you're reading it here from the New York Times. As Russia deals with the heavy toll of Western sanctions and falling oil prices, a major credit rating agency on Monday downgraded the country's sovereign debt to below investment grade, the first time it has fallen to that level in more than a decade. Now they're playing games here. Obviously, they want to push Russia down as far as possible, and the rating agencies are in fact a big joke in many ways. We had AAA ratings on the subprime, worst garbage debt in the entire world, in fact, rated at AAA. So we know that they're quite a joke, but it does tell you something, at least for the fund companies and investment organizations. They do look at these investment grades because they're undoubtedly not aware of the truth. So this is something to look at, how bad things will get in Russia and how this will affect their currency. So I'd like to move on right here, and this is essentially IBM's stock. I covered just recently how it was doing poorly and showed you that, this really was just one stock, but it is part of a wider scheme, much more going on at the time. And it's quite interesting that people began selling the stock off when they said that they were in fact not going to fire 110,000 people. That actually made the stock go up with the rumor that they were going to fire a quarter of their staff. And then when they said they were only going to fire several thousand of their employees, the stock dropped. And that goes to show you how everything is topsy-turvy right now. Nothing makes sense. This should be, not as bad, we'll say. I don't want to say good, but definitely not as bad as the 100,000 plus people. But here we are in such a crazy world. Look at this. These are the statistics I wanted to show you. Social Security beneficiaries, and at the top, employed, usually working full-time. So we're looking at the chart from the St. Louis Fed, and on top has been superimposed the Social Security beneficiaries. So when we talk about Social Security, there are definitely two sides to this. We want people to have an income after they retire. That is often what people are most worried about while they're in their later working years. So they are always concerned that should something bad happen, they're going to need an income if they cannot work any longer. They want to know that there's a lifeline there. Social Security has become a large burden on the US and most other countries in the world, where not only have they run into that red line, they've actually far surpassed it, and they are running into the negative. They have what they call intragovernmental debt, and basically what that means is we stole from one area and we are putting it into another area, and we don't even know where these funds are going anymore. They continuously steal from one and give to the other, and there is no reality left. This brings me to what I wrote about in my book, where I was talking about the multi-billion dollar bailout packages, and then getting into more debt situations. Although the officials' number vary, the unfunded liabilities amount to over $60 trillion according to USA Today. However, this figure had been shown to be much higher depending on the calculations. Either way, it's several times over the GDP, so they can't pay it back when you have this level of debt. And the debt is not just in the US or in Europe. That is obviously big talk right now today, but we're looking at this over the course of the past few years, and we're looking at it in every corner of the world. Look at this right here. The one thing that is definite, the one thing that is going to be continuing for the foreseeable future is the Fed balance sheet. We see how it is continuously expanding right into 2015. And then you look at the 2015 world GDP estimate sharply declining through 2014. And we saw what happened when all of the different statistics, except for that US stock market, of course, all of the different statistics declined. I'll move on quickly. I've covered this before. Banknotes in circulation by Bank of Greece. What I'm showing you right here, what I am trying to illustrate is that there is a bank run that is taking place right now in Greece, and this was obviously because they were concerned about what would happen with the elections. And many people are happy right now with the situation in Greece, but that doesn't mean that the money is safe, because the bankers control that monetary supply. And of course, you're going to have bank runs anytime there are people who are concerned. Your money's in the banking system, and you may feel that your country, wherever you live, is a safe place to be. And sure, it might be. But what happens if you face the same fate as these individuals here? You need to get smart with your money. This is out of Mises, and what Patrick Barron, consultant to the banking industry, said, I predict that the Fed will start charging negative interest rates on bank reserve accounts, which will ripple through the markets and result in negative interest rates on savings at the banks. This could very well happen. They'd be joining the ranks of other countries as well, where they impose negative interest rates in order to steal the wealth from the people. And that's why they do this. If they're not making enough money from the fractional reserve banking and the derivatives haven't swollen up enough, they need to impose negative interest rates. I've been talking about this for quite some time as they continue to impose them country after country, and this is going to happen in most other countries around the world. One policy is not just for that one individual country, it becomes a global policy. Look at what happened with, or what's happening right now with Agenda 21. It is a global policy being implemented right at the local level. They are very intelligent with the way that they can do this. Falling gas tax revenue has California lawmakers considering mileage tax plan. You can see how this is a very, very big problem for the future, as we have taxes being imposed for every mile driven. You heard it here that I have predicted this many, many times. I've been talking about it forever. And this instance right here where we have, they're not making enough money on the gas tax. So they say, you know what? We should really try imposing the taxes for every mile driven. And they're going to go ahead. They're going to do it. And they're going to impose this. And they're going to get away with this all because of carbon taxes, carbon emissions, trying to be eco-friendly, trying to be green, trying to do all of these things that they claim are for the environment, but never do a single thing for the environment, because this is all a monetary scheme. That's what this is. So I'm going to move on right here. Return of the 3% down payment. We had a major crash that took place in real estate that spiraled out of control, and it really was out of control because of what happened with the loans. They were giving out loans to just about anybody, and then they started getting a little more strict after the crash. The government took over Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and that was supposed to have fixed everything, because as long as they keep those structural reforms in place, everything would be fine. But here we are today in 2015, return of the 3% down payment. And of course, we're not far away from the 0% down payment. And this is just going to fuel the boom longer. It's going to undoubtedly bring in another crash. They continue to do this over and over again. You have interest rates all the way down, and then you have a 3% down payment. So of course anyone could afford a home. And this right here is just where I wanted to lead this talk, and that is that the super rich hedge fund managers are buying secret bolt holes where they can hide out in the event of civil uprising against growing inequality, it has been claimed. Nervous financiers from across the globe have begun purchasing landing strips, homes, and land in areas such as New Zealand so that they can flee should people rise up. They're concerned about the possibility of civil unrest and riots taking place all around the world. And this is concerning them. So they're going to remote destinations and buying what they're calling bolt holes, but essentially hideaways or hideouts in different remote areas. And this goes to show you how bad things are because they're more in tune with reality than the average citizen is. They're too busy watching television 6 hours a day, and they don't know the truth. But these individuals, who are the billionaires and the multimillionaires, are definitely more well connected. They hear things before we do. And this is the last thing I wanted to cover. Unfortunately, not very nice information, but here we are with the third banker death in 2015. Last year we had 36 banker deaths, whether they're claimed as a suicide or murder. But we're looking at it being quite interesting how very, very often we have these bankers or people in the finance industry committing suicide. And this goes to show you how bad things are getting. Sure, they could be legitimate, but they also could be some conspiracy involved here. I don't know any of these particular situations, but it does look like something is very, very wrong in this situation. And I will continue to at least just shed some light on the topic, and you can do your own investigations on that. I will continue to add these to my videos at the end, just so we can keep track of this. Something to note. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to become a subscriber on the YouTube. There are nearly 15,000 subscribers now. I want to say hello to every single one of you, all the new joiners. Hello. I try to reply to everyone through the comments here. I'm also trying to answer the questions as I go through the videos to talk to you personally. You know, I don't really have a priority in line, which is I give away the free video every single day. That is my goal. I try to keep to that every day, free information coming to you. Then I prioritize with the consultations that I do. If you want my undivided one-on-one attention, then inquire about that. Then I reply to the people in the insiders, and then I go to my regular email, which is david@themoneygps.com, where quite frankly it's over a week emails in there that I haven't replied to yet. I will get back to you, I assure you. It just takes me some time because I always reply to the insiders first. Once that inbox is empty, then I go to david@themoneygps.com. So if you just want to email me, you don't even care about the emails that I send out, just get on there just to get the email address. But if you want to become an insider, it's at themoneygps.com. Just scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.